Welcome to the Black Business Podcast, where we help Black entrepreneurs, Black business owners, and Black consumers connect their Black dollars. Now, here's your host, Jenny Jones.
Hello, it's great to be with you today. I am Jenny Jones, your host for the Black Business Podcast. And joining me today is Shawn Jenkins of Stockton, California, and his company, Stockton Sports Performance. Today's show is brought to you by the $5marketinggarage.com, where all of your online digital marketing needs are met inside the garage. I am super excited. I've been knowing this brother for a very, very long time. Our guest today found time in his busy schedule. He's a busy dude, so I was able to find it and catch up with him, and I'm glad he was able to join us here on the Black Business Podcast, where we connect entrepreneurs, small businesses, and consumers with their Black dollars. Without further ado, please welcome Shawn Jenkins from Stockton Sports Performance. Welcome to the show, Shawn.
Hey, Jenny, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Hey, no problem, man. It's funny. I've been trying to catch up with you. You have this going on. I got this going on. I says, man, I found a slot for you. Had another guest booked. And so we finally made this happen. So, man, I really want people, and I see what you're doing. You know, of course, I follow you online, but I'm seeing a lot of things are changing with the COVID-19 thing. So with every guest that I do when they first get on the show is I always ask them to take an elevator ride with me. Hey, let's get on the elevator and let's go up to the 47th floor, and you get on. Tell me what's going on. Tell me a little bit about your business.
Well, my business, Stockton Sports Performance, is a sports performance-oriented business. I train right now, for the most part, youth. Most of my clientele are high school athletes, or maybe even a little bit younger. I also have some adults. I'm working right now with a high school tennis coach. So, but right now, since the COVID hit, it's changed a little bit. We were hitting it hard and heavy, seeing a lot of good things from the youngsters, and then all of a sudden, you had to pump the brakes because of COVID. So we've had to change some things around a little bit. I'm doing more, online things where I'm sending some programming and talking to them on some of the things that they can do in this COVID environment.
Okay, so it sounds like, when you say Stockton's Sports Performance, so it sounds like you were mostly working with athletes, trying to get them, maybe they need another level or they're trying to go to the next level. Mm-hmm. Is that what I understand what your business was about? Yeah.
Most of it, like I said, are my athletes, but I do not leave out the general population. I have a friend now, actually she's an old coworker, and I've been monitoring her program. She's in the equestrian, so she's not really an athlete per se. She's general population, and I've just been designing her program, talking about the nutrition aspect, some things that she can change, things that she can implement into her everyday nutrition lifestyle. So, it says Stockton Sports Performance. I do have some people who are not athletes who are just looking to stay healthy, which is very important, as we've found out with this COVID. And we can see the population who it's hitting are the ones who are compromised with poor health.
Oh, I see. And that's a very good point. And as you brought it up, I wanted to understand a little bit more. So your program, as I'm understanding a little bit more, and I was able to chat with you a little bit earlier, but your program consists of a physical aspect and a diet aspect. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, it goes hand in hand. I mean, if you exercise, so if you have an athlete that's exercising, you still need to fuel your exercise. You have to eat properly, nutritiously. It's not, you don't have to have rice cakes 3 times a day every time, unless you like it. But you have to eat sensible. And what I've found out through my experiences working with the younger athletes, a lot of them have been misinformed. So there's a lot of education, especially with the as the nutrition aspect. A lot of them understand it's important to, get stronger, faster, quicker is what our program does. And we start with the basics, and we work our way up. But proper nutrition and exercise go hand in hand, whether you're an athlete or you're just an average everyday person.
Wow. Okay. So when I see your name, I see all these initials behind it. What does that mean? I mean, you've been in this business for some time. Can you kind of educate our listeners and our viewers? What's your background as far as education-wise and certification-wise? Go ahead and fill us in on that. So people say, hey, listen, this guy knows what he's talking about. So let me go ahead and fill us in on that.
Okay, so I'll give you from the beginning. I was an athlete, high school and college. So I played junior college ball at Chabot. From Chabot, I got a scholarship to LSU. Played at LSU, came back home, still had some eligibility, finished at San Francisco State playing ball. And then when I was done there, actually I got injured, and I was in the training room. And I knew even if I didn't play professional sports, I still wanted to be involved in sports. And so I'm watching the athletic trainers, what they're doing, and they're involved with athletes and, their interaction. And I'm like, I like this. So I inquired. Make a long story short, after my playing days, I became a student athletic trainer. And for those who don't know, an athletic trainer is that person you see that runs out on the field or the court when an athlete becomes injured, and you assess the injury, check out the severity, and then you do the rehab part. So I became certified, and the ATC means athletic trainer certified. Most people think says athletic trainer, they think personal trainer, but it's different. So from there.
So let me, and I want you to continue your journey. I just want to make the clarification just for my education. So you're saying an athletic trainer is different from a personal trainer. Like if I go to 24-hour fitness, now I want to educate the population here. Mm-hmm. So if I go to 24-hour fitness and say, hey, there may be a personal trainer. And really to me, that's more of a person it's more of discipline to keep you on track and make sure you don't hurt yourself. But what you're saying is, no, you're athletic performance type of trainer. And is that what I'm understanding? You're certified in athletic but you're bringing that, crossing that over to help everyday people. Is that what I'm understanding?
So an athletic trainer is the one who assesses an injury. So if an athlete's on the field, so like playing football, and he blows out his knee, I run out there, I look at it, I assess it. I may do different tests to check a ligament or a meniscus just to see what's going on, get them to the sidelines and check them further. That's the athletic trainer. And so they're involved in the injury assessment and the rehabilitation process, either surgical or non-surgical. So if an athlete needs surgery, he goes back to the athletic trainer for rehabilitation. So, and then you see the CSCS, that's a certified strength and conditioning specialist. That is the person that you see in the weight room, whether you be high school, college, or professional. And that's the individual that gets the athletes bigger, stronger, faster, quicker. And you want to help them prevent having injuries by preparing their bodies for whatever activities they're involved in. So I get the opportunity, and it's happened in the past because I was once at one point I contracted being the athletic trainer and a strength coach for a local high school team. So I would be on the field and I'd watch a player get injured. I'd assess them, check the injury, and if they're injured, then I would rehabilitate them to get them back on the field. So I can do both.
Oh, so you're so you basically, and I thought that's what so you're certified to do both then?
I'm certified to do both, and I have a master's degree in kinesiology. And
so you're a deep brother, man. We got brothers. That's what I really created the platform for, because the challenge was, hey, I would spend my money with a African-American business, but I don't know who they are. I don't know where to find them. And so the platform was created for our consumers as well. It says, hey, listen, here's a young man out here, African-American brother, certified, master's degree, right? He has the education. You spend your black dollars with him, right? And that's what I wanted to create this platform for. There's a lot of hidden gems out there, right? Gems, meaning, people, diamonds in the rough, that people are out here doing it and trying to grow their business, But the challenge for us as African-American small business owners is we have a challenge because we're fighting two battles. One, we're fighting the battle of our own community in trusting to spend their dollars with us. And we're like, listen, you spend your dollars with us, your level of service is not going to drop off versus spending it in other African-American businesses. And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. So here it is, your brother, you're certified, 2 different certifications and a master's degree, and you've actually played these sports before. So talk to me about that. Talk to me about, were there any challenges in people being acceptable to your experience and your level of, was there a credibility factor or talk to me about that? Do you have any challenges with that?
Actually, the credibility factor has never been an issue, surprisingly. But the challenge is that everyone thinks that they can do this. People don't realize that there's actually a science behind this. There's a lot of information that a person has to know, and just not anyone can just do this. They say they can. For instance, to give you an example, when you're working with a younger population, doesn't mean they're a small adult. So you can't take an adult program and apply it to a young person. Good because point. Their bodies are different. They have different needs. And then a lot of people just think they can do that. And unfortunately, the general population doesn't have that knowledge. And I always try to bring my experience and things like that when I meet a client and let them know, when I charge my price, this is what you're getting. And it's not based on some other things that you heard. I mean, I actually have the experience. I've worked with some of the top people in my field. My mentor is nationally known.
Man, don't start name dropping, man. Don't start name dropping.
So I'm just saying, he knows his stuff. I've learned under some good people. Right. And then I interned with the Oakland Raiders back in 2011. So that actually got me to where I am. Because I really, I know this is going national, but I really didn't have any desire to work with professional athletes. I just thought I had more to offer the young population, because with them, they're trying to matriculate through high school, get to the college. And I've been there, I have the experience, and I'm able to share that with them.
Wow, that's good insight, man. That's some deep stuff there, man, you shared. And so listen, during this COVID thing, what have you done differently? Have you done anything differently, or what are your thoughts and even moving forward? Because I tell people, hey, listen, COVID could probably be here for a minute, or it's going to have an effect on businesses for some time. And yours is more of, I don't know if 6 feet is the answer for what you do and seeing people physically, but tell me how you're adjusting, and tell me if you have anything in store for any of our listeners that may want to meet with you later on.
Yeah, our business is hands-on. I mean, I have to be there, but this has been an adjustment. So what I've done is I have a setup in my garage where I videotape myself doing certain exercises, and I've sent that on to the people who have inquired, my athletes that want that their program is changing and I need to add something. I demonstrate it so they know how it's performed. The day one guy called me, his daughter needed some strengthening. She was going to be a freshman in high school, so I just sat there, did some movements, and sent it to him so he can see it. I've done FaceTime where they're looking at me. Designing a program is not a problem. The issue is actually being present. So what I've done is, like I mentioned earlier, is videotape myself doing certain things so that they can at least understand how it's performed.
So you're saying, so prior to COVID, you're already working with some student athletes, and then COVID
student
happened.
Athletes and adults. So I do have
student athletes and adults. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, no one can come out of their house, like what? And so you had to adjust. So now do you have a a setup online where a person logs in and do all of that? Or is that something you're trying to get in place right now, just trying to get adjusted to that? Or talk to me about that a little bit.
Well, yes, because I wasn't used to it. I'm just getting adjusted to it. I have colleagues that I'm asking them what they're doing so I can see what works for me, because what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for other one. But as far as getting online and getting the information to your clients, we have to do that. So I am in the process of doing that. Right now, we're doing FaceTime, I text, I email, they'll work out. And like I mentioned earlier, I just videotape myself performing the movement and I send it on to the individual.
Now, how are you doing with menus? Is that something that you have on your website already pre-planned, or do you even prep meals? Do you send them out? Talk to me about that. Do you partner with anybody to do that? Talk to me about that.
No, I don't. A lot of people make it very difficult. I mean, if a teaspoon of this, a cup of this, especially with the population I train, I'm just trying to get them to eat healthier, include some things. I try not to overwhelm them saying, take this out, take this out, take this out. What I want them to do is include certain things that I know that's going to be beneficial for their exercise. So I try to keep it as simple as possible. I give them guidelines. So people are much easier to follow guidelines as opposed to something regimented. Now you have some people who are like that, but they're very far and few in between. Well, most people just want a guideline, but some people are very like cookie cutter, or they're really focused. I can only have this much of this and this. And if it's that person's like that, that's what we do. But
that's interesting.
Go ahead.
That's interesting. I noticed that there are some people that want the regiment. And then there's some people, nah, just give me guidelines, man. Don't overwhelm me. Because if a person is overwhelmed, then they're not going to do anything.
Not at all.
Or they'll be discouraged. And I noticed that even in my financial practice, if I give them this, give them that, and they're like, no, so here's what we're going to do. This is ultimately where you're trying to get to in a year from now or 2 years from now. Or if in your case, if a person's trying to lose weight, or if a person's trying to build muscle mass or something like that, you say, ultimately, this is where we're trying to get to.
It's gradual.
Let's take some baby steps. Let's take some, some smaller steps. But there are some people, no, just give me everything, regiment. And like you said, few and far between. I found myself doing that, but I never really it was never cognizant of me doing it. I was like, okay, this person likes to go slower. So I'll baby feed them. But another person say, you know what? They need the whole thing. They just operate better when they have everything in front of them. Mm-hmm. So by you saying that, hey, you entrepreneurs out there, you got to listen up. You got to know your clients, got to know your customers, right? You can't cookie cutter your customers. You can't think they're all one way. They're just not, right? And so that's a good lesson for an entrepreneur out there. Is anything else? You have any other entrepreneurial tips on your journey? And how long you been in business, by the way? Let me ask you that.
I started this back in the late 90s, but I switched it over to Stockton Sports Performance. So this was since 2020. So I think I've been since like 2012.
Okay.
Doing this. So I've been doing this, working with the youth since 2012. Yeah, but I've done it. I've been in the business since 1994. So I first became certified as a strength coach in 94.
Okay. And so, that was 94. So your experience is a lot longer, but I'm talking about as far as running a business. Yeah. And so was there any, I've been trying to ask most of my guests is there anything that you could share with a young entrepreneur trying to start a business like today? Right. And let's leave COVID out. Right. Okay. Let's use a normal, because COVID, that's a whole nother podcast if we just COVID only. But as far as starting a business, when you started it back, I think you said it was 2012, I think you said. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that an entrepreneur that would need to know? You said, man, I just didn't know this, getting into business for myself. Go ahead.
Yeah, the financial part. It's like that's what you really want to know coming out, because I know my my craft. You know,
Right.
I wasn't, what did I say? I had a lot of knowledge on training and things of that sort, but the business aspect is what I've had to learn. And I have certain people you put in place, or you ask questions, a lot of reading. Uh, so whatever I wasn't strong at, I either read up on it or I would ask someone who was already doing it. Because I have friends who were already in the business as well. So I would ask them, okay, this is what I want to do. What do I need to do to get to, what you're doing? So my thing is ask questions, prepare yourself. Those things, those areas that you're not strong in, find somebody, find a mentor that's going to, if they don't have the answers, they can lead you to what those answers are.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that's very important. I think that's what takes a lot of small business owners out is the
Mm-hmm.
finances. It's not that when everybody goes into business, it's because they have a craft or a skill. Person says, hey, I need to multiply what I'm doing, or, hey, I'm working at this restaurant. I want to become a caterer or what have you. You got to look at the numbers. You got to know your cost of goods sold. What does it take for you to cost? How much it costs, your overhead, any software, anything. All those things need to be factored in instead of rolling out of bed saying, oh, I think I'm going to charge $19.95 for this service.
Yeah.
When actuality, it's probably more that you should charge $45 for the service. And so that's a very, very good point. And that's
the one thing you brought up. Don't shortchange yourself.
Yes.
Don't shortchange yourself. I mean, you have a skill. For me, I went to school. I got the experience. Don't sell yourself short.
Why do we do that? Do you know?
Because people just I guess they just want the client. I mean, I've lost people because I said, this is not what it costs. And he goes, they look at it and I say, you get what you pay for, and I don't feel bad. I say, you get what you pay for. This is what I bring to the table. And when I look at it, I'm not only preparing your child physically, I'm preparing them mentally. Because if this kid is going to go away to college, I've been there. They don't know what's waiting for them. I can tell them. A lot of times their parents don't know. So that you get a little bit of something more than just getting under a bar and squatting or pressing. So I don't have a problem with telling people what my cost is. If they don't want to pay for it, it's fine.
So would you agree that if you cost your products or services appropriately and you acquire the clients that are your clients that you're looking for, not just any old client, but you want to work with certain type of clients. If you acquire the clients you're trying to work for, you have the right product or service with the right price category. Would you agree that that'll prevent you from having problems later on or moving yourself into a desperate situation where you just take on any old kind of client?
Yeah, you have to look and see what the market is for your area. Like, I know I can't charge Bay Area prices in this area.
Right.
So it would be crazy for me to go and do that. So yeah, you have to know what your price point is. At the same time, you don't want to sell yourself short, because if you go too low, then you're not helping yourself or your business at all.
Right. Man, that's some deep information.
But I wanted to give you this. So this is one of the things I like. I saw this online. It says, my prices are based on my talent, not your budget.
Man, yeah, that's true. And I think even I've talked on the show before. I've had to fire some clients, right? And that's tough because it's like, I don't think it's I don't think it's working out. So let me ask you this, because I've had to do this, and what I feel, because social media grows. I mean, bad news is bad. It's hard to recover from bad news, especially from social media. But I've always found to make it right with a person, like if we get into a working relationship, then it's going haywire. I want to make when I let them down or when I fire them, I want to make it right with them. So it's right with them. Not that I'm going to keep your money and I know you've paid me 6 months in advance. I just kind of want to make it right with them because I don't want the negative publicity on because they really had a problem. I can generally say, because I'm flexible as a business owner, but if I'm generally working with a person, I'm like, dude, you are very difficult to work with. It's best because all money ain't good money.
Exactly.
How do you handle that? Have you ever been in that situation? You be like, you know what? I'm gonna give you all of your money back. Is that something that you would do? Or, I mean, we're just conversating right now.
I'm fortunate that I've never ran into that actually.
Okay.
Probably in the beginning, I've experienced it. I'll give you an example. I had 2 kids from a team that have been training with me for at least 6 weeks. They brought their teammate to me, and he wanted to start right where they were. And I said, no, he can't. I said, there's a process. I said, he may get to where they are quicker than where they are. I said, but I need to see certain things perform before he gets there. And his dad was like, no, well, I want him to do that. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not in the business of hurting people. And that goes against, my principles, my values. So if that's what you want, you can't get that here. So he took his son on. I mean, I wasn't going to waver on that. I've had one person that, she great kid, but it was a little tough. And I looked at it as a challenge. I was trying to break through, but it just wasn't working. And so we still stayed the course. But then when it was time for a transition, that's when I had a conversation with the parents, said, hey, I don't think that this relationship is going to work. And then I explained it to them and they understood. And to this day, is fine. But I never had to, thank God, I haven't had a bad experience where somebody this was really just difficult to work with. I'm fortunate. I think it's because the field I'm in, not a lot of parents did it. Where some dads say, I played football, I know this. Not a lot of dads say, well, I was a strength coach and we did this. So I don't have a lot of people pushing back on me with that. So in that way, I'm fortunate.
Okay. So good. So as we kind of close it out here, is there anything that you would like to share with a young entrepreneur or a business owner in the COVID adjustment season, or consumer, any one of those three, or maybe all three? What are your parting words from your particular self and or your organization?
Well, because I'm in the health field, strength conditioning field, and I just want people to take their health a lot more seriously, especially in this environment where you can't get out and do as much. Really start paying attention if you're mindless eating, if you're not being as active as you normally are. You can go for walks, you can social distance yourselves. I just want people to continue or start to be more active and take better care of themselves, because the information is out there. And you see how COVID affects people, and especially our population, Black people. And I just want people to really start focusing on that. I mean, your health is something you don't want to take for granted. And, if it goes downhill, it's all bad. You can't do much at all. But I just want people to start doing, taking better care of themselves.
Yeah, I think you and we had a conversation about this once before, and I think we both arrived at this, and it was very surprising because, I'm in finance and I know you're in health, and you brought this to my attention. I was like, man, he's right. He says, you told me, he says, hey man, your health is your wealth. And I was like, man, that makes a lot of sense, because if you're not healthy, you can't work. Your body is not, you can't punch a clock, right? Or if you even have your own business, you can't receive a check because you can't perform. So when you really, really think about it, or when you look at it and say, hey, your health is your wealth, and let's say, you move into retirement, and, retirement's supposed to last a certain period of time and all those other things. If your money is going to last, or you're supposed to receive different money and things of that nature, you got to be healthy around to be able to pay certain things off and all that other stuff. So when you really said that, man, that resonated with me, man. I think we need to partner on something, man. I really believe, because your health is your wealth when you really think about that. And I think I have a confession to make with you. When we first went into this COVID environment, I really kind of went into this little funk that I wasn't getting up. I wasn't eating right. I was just in psychological, because I was such in a routine, getting up, doing this, doing that. And I was so active that I had to start creating things. And my wife and I, we would start going, walking and doing a lot of things. Because I think my first couple of weeks, I'd say my first month in, I had gained all this weight because my whole outlook had changed. And I think what you're saying now, I'm back on track now. I've dropped about 15 pounds because it became conscious to me, like what you're saying now, and it became conscious to me. And so I think it's very key that you say that. So do you have any programs, like do you put anything on Instagram or anything like that where you get these quotes and say, hey, let's go? Or do you put these short videos to kind of keep people moving that may not be motivated, may not have another spouse, may just need to hear a word of inspiration and health? Do you do anything like that to kind of keep a person going? Maybe it's a single person at home. Maybe they're a little bit older. What are you doing anything like that? Keep giving people good juice.
Yeah. Encouraging. Yes. So yeah, I do on Instagram, which is Stockton Sports Performance on Instagram.
Is that all one word? Is there any underscores? People are
actually a good one.
Okay.
Now, I was told if you put Stockton Sports Performance, it comes up, but I have it Stockton _sports_performance. So that's how it looks on my page. But some people say if you type it in, it just comes up. So you can do either way. But no, I do. I put little blurbs of encouragement up there. Talk about how to eat for your strength and your immune system. I know some people need that. I mean, and a lot of truth be told, I put it up there for me sometimes because I need encouragement.
That's good, man.
I'll confess to you.
Okay.
When this
That's
thing
real
hit,
talk.
The first week, I didn't train at all. First, probably week and a half. I didn't do anything. I too was snacking. I was like, my routine was jacked. I mean, I used to get out of there.
I don't feel bad now, man. We got the strength.
No.
And that's a psyche, man. That was that took a lot, man. It was a mental adjustment. And if you say it didn't, you're kidding yourself, because it really was a mental adjustment. And what I started doing, and I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing that with me and sharing it with our audience. And that's how important it is for somebody to connect with somebody like you. So listen.
It's real.
So how can a person, if I want to engage with a Shawn Jenkins and his program, is there a starter package, or is there anything, can you offer anything unique and special for my listeners and viewers to get a taste of your experience? Maybe there's an entry-level package or something. I hate to put you on the spot, but I think we're here now. So what you got?
I'm good with that. I honestly, I have not put anything together. I have not put anything together.
Okay.
Here's
what we'll do. Here's what we do. I know they're reworking on your website to try to, because COVID-19, you wanted to get it adjusted and maybe have some places for videos and stuff like that. So I know they're reworking it. But when we put you in our mall, the shopblackpodcast.com mall, I'll update that as it comes. And what we're going to do, and I think this is a good time for me to segue and let people know that we're going to have a specials page, right? Because a lot of our guests say, hey, you know what? I got something special for your guests to at least experience me. Here's a free 25-minute consultation, or here's a 50% off or 25% off if they're doing something special for my guests. So now I have a specials page I am going to have up there for you'll find all the different specials that our guests may have. And I'm going to put you now in the public square. If you're going to put together a special package, if it's nothing but a COVID-19 special package for our listeners and viewers, just to experience you. And I know you're going to have with your new program and the online stuff and your new website, you may have something. So you may want them to try it out with you, right? Yeah. You might say, hey, or we call them like beta testers. Hey, and you might want to give them some type of deal or something like that just to get acclimated even to your new setup. Is that something we can count on?
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
You put me under the gun. I'll answer.
Well, no, it's all good.
I just have to formulate it. I have stuff in here. I just need to put it down there.
I mean, as business owners, man, I'm never without a composition book. I'm always writing things down, and and if you're an entrepreneur, your mind never shuts off. I mean, at least mine doesn't. So I'm always thinking about different things and different programs that I can offer people. And so, no, I appreciate that. And even if I'm not, even if you don't come up with something major, even if it's just a little something that our listeners or someone that may not even have known of you, those are some of the things I'm doing. There's a lot of people somebody may be listening to this in Atlanta.
Well, the biggest thing I would think would be a consult, because you have to find out where the person is and what they have available to them. Because what's going to happen now is it's not going back to where it used to be. Gym's going to look different.
Yes.
So it may be like what I did. I pulled some of my equipment from the facility and put in my garage, and now I'm going to have to purchase some other stuff. So now it'll be, okay, what do you, like I do now, what do you have? What do you have access to? Are there any injuries that you have that you need to address? So it'll be a consult, find out where a person is, because if you meet them where they are and not where you think they are, it's a lot more effective. It's effective, but it's more likely that they're gonna keep going, that you don't overwhelm them.
Right.
Right.
That's just like, you join somebody, we've been working since COVID started. We're doing 19 miles a day. You're like, I'm not going to do 19 miles a day. I might give you 19 steps.
Hey, that's 19 more than they've been doing. So
no, and that's I think that's very key in what you said. So listen, I want you to put out all your contact information. It'll also be available in our mall as well, and I'll make some updates, some changes there as it changes. But how can people get in contact with you, Stockton Sports Performance?
Okay, so on Instagram is Stockton_sports_performance on Instagram. On Facebook, you can just type in Stockton Sports Performance, and that's how you can reach me. Like you mentioned earlier, I'm working on my website. I'm redoing some things, and once that's up and ready, that information will be forthcoming.
Great, man. Hey, listen, Shawn, I appreciate you joining us today here on the Black Business Podcast, where we connect entrepreneurs, small business owners, and consumers to their Black dollars. Remember, you're going to be able to find information for Shawn and the Stockton Sports Performance at shopblackbusinesspodcast.com. So it's our where you're able to get the podcast. You can get that at theblackbusinesspodcast.com. If you want to get to our store, you just add shop in front of it. Put shop, theblackbusinesspodcast.com. You're going to find all of our guests, everyone up there as well. And look for us on YouTube as well. You should be able to type that in and be able to get us as well. So listen, we appreciate Mr. Shawn Jenkins finding time in his busy schedule. He warned me. He says,
my motto. This is my motto.
What is that?
Talent when talent doesn't work hard.
I love it. That's true, man. That's true. And I'm glad we didn't have any interruptions. He told me, he says, man, listen, man, I'm at home. We got COVID, a lot of things going on, people working on stuff and everything. So I'm appreciative of that. We were able to get through this interview, but no, man, hey, I appreciate it. Look forward to connecting with you.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for allowing me to share.
All right, hey, no problem. And I hope our guests will reach out to you if they need any information, either a free consult or something like that. We appreciate you. Until next time, you guys take care. God bless.
All right,
peace.
take care.
Thank you for listening to the Black Business Podcast, where we help Black entrepreneurs, Black business owners, and Black consumers connect their Black dollars. Hosted by Jenny Jones. If you like what you heard, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. If you want to learn more about all our podcast guests and spend your Black dollars with them, visit our online store at shopblackbusinesspodcast.com.